What's up, party people? Back with you here. The following is a random, completely improvised 10 minutes of monologue based on a completely random word from one of the books on my shelf. It's a screenwriting book. Doesn't matter which one. It's the one I'm using right now. Let's see what our word is today. Let's see what we're going to talk about. I don't know. You don't know. You know what? You do know because you just read the title for this thing now that I did it. And the word is disconnect. The word is disconnect. I think sometimes I have a disconnect with a lot of people. Oh, wait a minute. Important. Set a timer for 10 minutes. This is a very important part.
Setting the timer. Okay, 10 minutes and counting.
I think that, back to my point, I disconnect with people sometimes, and I don't mean to. Because I like to be a personable guy. I'm a friendly guy. But there's this disconnection I have sometimes with people. My wife is a social butterfly, and she will, any community we've had with a new school or a new church or a new neighborhood, it's because of her. It's because she has walked up and introduced herself. I'm working on that at parties, of introducing myself and being connected, but disconnect is a good word sometimes, where it's easier for me as an introvert to disconnect and just go off and do my little thing and wait for people to come to me in the corner of the party and ask what I do and who I am and what I'm all about. But she will connect, and I need to connect more. I think one of my problems, too, when I'm meeting new people is that I am not good with names. I will forget names. There's a guy who's an old friend of mine, Dennis Leach. Hey, what's up, Dennis? Shout out. And I met him with a room full of other people. We went on to do a lot of sketch comedy together. We were called Standing Room Only, and then we were called the Bungalow Boys. But the day I met Dennis Leach, somebody said, "This is Den?" First of all, that was Mark Steele. He should have just said, "This is Den." He should have said, "This is Dennis." But he did it. He did throwaway. "This is Den." And I thought he said, "This is Dez." Okay, so I'm already bad with names. Now I'm trying to memorize the names of all these people that I want to impress and be funny with. So I call him Dez for probably 6 weeks. I mean, I don't see him all the time, but anytime I see Dennis, I'm like, "Hey, Dez." And he lets me do it for like 6 weeks. And he finally goes, I mean, I don't know, it could have gone for years. And he just finally said, my name is Dennis. That's pretty embarrassing. Now, I will say, along with names, there have been people that have, I've got a name that's hard to remember how to spell, because my name is Cory. People want to put that E in there, Corey. That's a little tiny bit of disconnect I might have with someone, going back to that word, Corey. People email me, Corey, and I'll send an email back signed Cory. And they'll send me another email, Corey, and am I going to be a jerk at this point and go, "Hey, by the way, there's no E"? Like, do I make that a part of my communication with this person now? Just recently, I had to put my name on something at my kid's school to identify our family, and it was my name, and they printed it out, Corey. I nipped it in the bud, and I said, "You know what? Cory. It's not a big deal, but if I don't tell you now, it'll go on for years." Because I will tell you, I have friends, people I've known for 20 years, that still misspell my name. Listen, guys, I'm sensitive to that. If you have a name, if your name is Brian with a Y, I'm going to learn that, okay? If your name is Todd with one D, I think it's weird, but I will spell it that way. If you are Jaysun for Jason, I'll learn. You know why? Because my wife is Vicky with an I, and I'm Corey with no E but a Y. And that's important as you have a relationship with people, as you connect with people, is to spell their name right. So just putting that out there. For all you people who think you're really good friends with me and you go way back, check the spelling of my name, because some of you are still putting Corey on the Christmas cards. Just check it. It's not like we're not friends anymore. We're still friends. But it's just a little bit of sand. It's just a little bit of grit there in the back of my mind. It's like, could you learn my name? Could you learn my name? I don't want to be on my deathbed, like, and they're one of the people around, maybe. And they're holding my hand, and I go, and I pull them close, and I say, there's no E. And they're like, what did he say? He said there's no E. What kind of cryptic clue is that? Is that some sign of life? There's no E. What does that mean? Oh my gosh, I spelled his name wrong for his entire life. Oh my gosh. I could have spelled it right one more time before he died. It's a little thing. It's not a big deal. Other ways that I disconnect with people, I think, is that, I think that living in Los Angeles or any city, I lived in Los Angeles for a long time, and with any friendship, you've got to be intentional. You can't say, hey, we got to get coffee sometime. Hey, we got to go out to eat. You have got to follow up, guys, especially guys. I got a lot of friends, and they are friends. They are friends. They're not friends. They're friends. But, man, you guys ghost me. If we say we're going to have coffee, if we say we're going to have lunch, text me back. Just text me back. Let's name a place. Let's name a time. I'm trying to get better at that. You try to get better at that too. Connect with people. Okay? And, but on that same note, I want to talk about texting as far as we're talking about connecting and disconnecting. Some people, when they call, I'm going to give you a piece of advice here on this device. When the phone rings, you don't have to answer it. You don't. If you're at dinner, if you're at lunch with a friend like I'm talking about, and this thing rings, unless it's an emergency, you don't have to answer it. You can get it later. Also with texts. My wife and I both know people that when they text, boy, if you don't text them back within 30 seconds, they'll text you again with some question marks. Then they'll call you. What's wrong? You're not answering your text. I'm going to answer my text. I might answer it in a couple of hours. Why didn't you like my comment on Facebook? Because I check Facebook about once every 3 days, guys. Sometimes, while I'm confessing about being disconnected sometimes at a party or with relationships or friendships, sometimes it's okay to disconnect. We're not slaves to these things. You're watching on it right now, aren't you? You're looking at this right now while you're watching me. Or you're watching on your laptop, or you're a slave to YouTube, you're a slave to Twitter. Disconnect. These things don't own us. We own them. Okay? That was actually the theme of the Fraggle Rock movie I was going to write and direct. That I did write. I worked on for 3 years, and the big theme was that Gobo and all the Fraggles, they found one of these things that fell down the hole into Fraggle Rock. I think Uncle Matt left it for them or something. But this was the message in a bottle that started the adventure, and they were trying to figure this out. And they went up to our world, and they met some people, and the whole theme was that while this thing claims to connect us, it does a lot to sever connections. It does a lot to stifle our real connection. If I see another family sitting at dinner at a restaurant, and they're all looking at these, I'm going to go slap them out of their hands. I'm going to slap them out of their hands. If you heard something weird, like a creature, that's my dog. Here's my dog, Rosie. Oh, she's too heavy. She's too heavy to pick up. That's Rosie. She's somebody I connect with. Do I connect with you? I connect with you. Okay, go lie down. I will slap a phone out of, especially a kid's hands, man. I'll be at an ice skating rink. I'll be at the circus, and I'll see some kid doing this. Some 4-year-old that has been handed this. I get it, parents. I get it. This thing is magic. You put it in a baby's hand, and they shut up. But let me tell you, that's a habit. That happens more and more and more. And husbands and wives are looking at this, and siblings are looking at this, when they should be looking at this. So some disconnection is good. That's what I'm saying. And then some disconnection is bad, which is me going, Chris, Carl, Christopher, Ken. I'm bad with names, man. Listen, I think some of us are, and this happens a lot in the film business. I will end up just at some room full of people, and they'll know my name, and I feel horrible. And then I gotta go, hey, it's you! It's you! What are you up to? It's always good to be with your significant other. My wife and I have this trick where she knows when I don't know the name, and I'm like, hey! And she will step right up and go, I'm Vicky, and you are? She doesn't do the thing where if you really want to throw somebody under the bus, you walk up to me and go, Corey, why don't you introduce us? Who is this? I've even had a guy walk up to me and say, hey, Corey, and I go, hey, and he goes, you don't remember my name, do you? I'm like, what is this, a scene from Seinfeld? What is this, a Larry David episode? Don't come at me like that. You don't remember my name, do you? And then I had to say, no, but don't be mad. And that's our time. I might not know your name, but guess what we did just now? We connected. I feel it. Do you feel it? We're connecting right now. And now, shut this thing off, disconnect from this device, and go out and have coffee with somebody. And when you say you'll have coffee, mean it. Follow up and do it. Bye.